to the Universal Ones Artist Collective. I am your host, Buddy James. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. And always, if you like our content, hit that bell because that's how we get seen. Thank you again. Enjoy the episode. All right. Episode 15, Season 1. Erik Rintamaki, the founder of Yooperlites and the Yooperlite fluorescent movement that is sweeping the world currently.
I can hear you.
How's it going? You got a really good camera.
Really good. Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's just my cell phone.
Nice. I was going to ask if it was a cell phone.
Yeah. New Galaxy Note 10.
Nice. All right. Well, so this is Erik, and how do you pronounce your last name? So I don't.
Rintamaki.
Rintamaki.
Yep.
Rintamaki. All right. Because I'm talking about you to all of my friends. I'm like, everywhere I go, your name just keeps popping out of my mouth, and I want to make sure it's right. Rintamaki. Okay.
Yep. You got it.
All right. So I hit you up and asked you for an interview because this thing that you got going on called Yooperlites.
Yep.
You want to just maybe give us a little brief history of how you came upon this and what it is?
Well, sure. I'm an agate picker, and back in 2017 in the spring, I needed to come up with a way to find Lake Superior agates that no one else was thinking of, because they're getting harder and harder and harder to find, and they're worth a few bucks. So everybody and their brother is going out on the beach looking for them. So I worked at a casino until 2 o'clock in the morning. So I thought, well, when I get off work, that's the perfect time to go. There'll be nobody else at the beach. I got it all to myself. So I started going out after work using, like a white headlamp, and didn't have much success that way. So I thought, years ago, my brother-in-law and I were out on the beach, and we were talking about the kits in the back of Rock and Gem magazine. And the kits in the back of Rock and Gem magazine used to have the UV lights that you could buy for like $500 or $600. You had to solder them and put them together yourself. We're like, man, if we get one of these, I bet you the whole beach lights up. But fast forward 20 years, I'm looking on eBay and I find this cheap $7 light, mineral detection UV light, and I end up buying that. So I went out 3 nights in a row and had zero luck at all. Didn't find anything. And I came home, told my wife, I said, I don't care if it takes me a month. I'm going every day until I find something on this beach.
How did you know or feel like there was something?
I didn't. I just said, I'm not going to stop until I find something on the beach that fluoresces. I didn't care if it was a stick or a frog or what it was. Right. I was going to find something that fluoresced. I'm just not the kind of guy that gives up real super easy.
Okay.
So I didn't know that there was anything fluorescent on our beaches, but I just had this hunch that there had to be something. There had to be something there. So on my 4th night, I was on my hands and knees at Vermilion Coast Guard Station, and I found 3 little stones about the size of a dime. One had little stars all over it. One had flower or snowflake pattern on it, and the other one had little lines going through it. And they all fluoresced nice bright orange. So I'm like, wow, these are all 3 different, and I found them within a 2-foot circle of each other. So I'm just screaming my butt off as loud as you can scream on the beach. And I drive home. It's about an hour from where I live. And I drove home like 90 miles an hour, get on Google, and I'm going to find out what these are. Type in fluorescent orange minerals in Michigan. No results. Fluorescent minerals in Michigan. Nothing that looked anything close to these. So then I just typed in orange fluorescent minerals and found sodalite that was the same color, but not these same patterns. And all the ones that were online were pretty much just solid orange. They didn't have these cool, funky patterns like my stones, and they weren't glaciated, so they weren't tumbled, they weren't rounded. They were all very craggy looking, very broken stones online. But like you can see here, this is very glaciated, tumbled, rounded, and that's all natural, straight from the beach. So
mechanical weathering, right?
What's that?
I think it's another term for it is mechanical weathering.
Yeah. So I ended up taking them to Rock and Gem shows and I have a couple of geologist friends, and they all looked at them, and no one could give me a definitive answer on what these were. So my friend out in California, his name is Gabe Reyna. He's a geologist and a fluorescent mineral expert. I ended up sending him 8 stones, and he told me he thought that they were a cyanite-rich and fluorescent sodalite after reading a couple of books, and he thought that they came down from the Canadian Shield from glacial activity. So I asked him, I said, he told me they're a cyanite-rich and fluorescent sodalite. And I'm like, Gabe, that is the worst rock name in the world. What do I call these things? I can't sell them as a cyanite-rich and fluorescent sodalite. Sounds like suicide, So he's like, well, just make up a name. He said, pick something from where you're from or where you found them, and then put LITE on the end, because that's what they use for most fluorescent minerals. So I
Yeah.
picked Yooper for where I'm from, and light they light up. And Yooperlites was born. I figured it out while I was on the beach, because we were coming up with all sorts of stupid names that didn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'm glad we stuck with Yooperlites and it worked out.
That's a really fascinating story. So there was some controversy, a little bit of controversy that I hear about like
Straight up. Yeah.
someone maybe finding it first or something. But
No. If anyone else had found these stones before I had, which is very possible, they
right,
didn't have the wherewithal to have them tested, verified to be a new find in Michigan. Because this is the 386th mineral discovered in Michigan. You can look at the mineral news of May 2018, and that credits me with the discovery of these stones.
that's awesome. But so I brought up that because uh, even if someone tried to claim that they discovered it
They could have
first,
found them 30, 40, 50 years ago, but they never had them
yep,
tested and verified to be a new find.
yep,
So, and they could have found them in another state. I found them in 7 different states now, 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. I found them in riverbeds, farm fields, gravel pits, landscape rock at Walmart. I mean,
no shit.
anywhere there's glacial till, you have a chance to find these stones.
Okay. Um,
And I'm the one that came up with the name Yooperlite, and I'm the one that really got these in the public eye. Nobody before me
right.
had
So
the wherewithal to do any of this.
but that controversy helped give you publicity as well. So
Oh
it
yeah.
came,
Oh
it backfired on whoever was trying to claim it.
yeah.
So this is really, really cool. These are absolutely gorgeous. As soon as I heard about it, actually, real quick,
Yeah.
do you remember what month it was in
It was the spring
September,
of May. It was like the early May of
May?
2017 when I discovered these. But I
Okay,
was
because
looking for 4 or 5 days before I discovered them.
okay, because I was um, uh, yeah, 2017 was a big year for me, so I just was curious which month it was. Uh,
Yeah.
so there's I'm gonna pull up a few things here. There's just a few photos that you're seeing my screen, right?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, those
Uh,
look like almost all of my photos.
so what is the deal with the ones I bought immediately when I saw you? I was
Yeah.
actually the day I met you, I was gonna go up north to go look for these, and then I went to a gem show instead, and I saw you there. So I immediately I was like heavily supportive. I'm like, dude, I got to get as much as I can, and like I'm looking at all of them, and there's just so many different varieties, and I like your setup, your hut that you walk through.
Yeah, my booth.
Um, my your booth, yes, my friend runs a booth that you walk through too, and it's black light. But he paints people. He dips them. He hydro dips them in with colors, and it's really big in the festival scene. And that's what I was talking about, possibly like trying to pair you two or something along
Oh
those
yeah.
lines. Because he's real big. He works with. I know you worked yourself really big as well, because I see you on Forbes and CNN and a bunch of
Oh
other,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And I'm not stopping. I'm going to be on the Travel Channel next year, and uh, I just did a thing for JTV Jewelry TV for the Home
Okay,
Shopping Network. That'll be out here in a week or so, and um, yeah,
nice. Yeah, I mean, I
it's
see you're
nonstop.
skyrocketing, and I thank you for the time that you allotted to for this podcast here.
Yeah, no problem.
So these darker ones here is what I'm really interested in because I got a necklace from you and it had these stars on it, these
Yeah.
dendrites. Uh, can you tell us more about these dendrites and these star patterns?
Uh, well, I think that would be more considered like the flower or the snowflake pattern.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
more, that's the most common type. There's probably about 90% of them are that flower speckled pattern. Like the two on the left there in that picture, those are a couple of the nicer ones ever found.
Oh, these?
And yeah, those are what I call the gemmy pattern because those are just completely loaded with color. And they'll have a little purple, and the purple you can see right through. It looks like you can see through the stones when you see them in person.
Ooh.
I happen to actually have that stone here. I'll show you right here. I can get it up there where you can see it. I got a little light hooked up. Might be too bright for the camera.
Yeah, about medium way to you would be probably the best to see it.
Yeah, and
Wow, it looks almost like, yeah, translucent, like
yeah,
marble.
yeah, and in person and in white light, this happens to be a tan stone, so it's
Okay.
tan in color.
Yeah,
Where most of the stones are a grayish to a black or white in color. So the tan ones tend to be the most loaded.
so this is nothing new. This is but you've created a gigantic trend and there's nothing like going out and trying to find these yourself. I'm telling you, the
Oh,
audience
that's
and woo.
that's the whole thing. When you find your very first one, you get this giant adrenaline dump. Okay, so natural high,
I haven't
and
found one yet, but I'm looking
when
around.
you well, because you got to remember, you imagine it's totally black, and you can hear the waves on the right,
Mhm.
and you can hear the grass over on the left, and you feel the crunching of the sand and the stones under your feet, and you turn that UV light on, and you're searching up and down on the beach, and whoop, there it is. And it looks like a hot piece of lava sitting on the beach, and you're just like, woohoo! You get this awesome feeling, and then you're chasing it the whole rest of the night. Then you got to find another one, and another one, and a bigger one, and a brighter one, and a better one. Then you want to
Yeah.
find all the patterns in one night, you know. So it's so much fun. It's
So
the most
did you
addictive rock picking thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I already had a flashlight that I picked up from, I think his name is Aaron. He does those alien things.
Oh yeah. Anthony
What's it?
Mickle.
Anthony. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I picked one up from him. He gave me a great deal on it. But
Hmm.
so immediately, right after I left your booth at the gem show, I started going everywhere throughout the gem show and with my flashlight and looking around. And the guy's booth right next to you, there was a bunch of green willemite,
Yep.
and it was awesome. I grabbed it as much as I could find, and I'm turning it into jewelry. And I started my own jewelry brand, um, and you can see the willemite at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Uh, what's that? Fluorite. That's where it gets its name. That's where fluorescence gets its name.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, I guess George Stokes, a scientist, named it.
Hmm.
That's what I hear.
Learn something new
Um,
today.
yeah, I've been researching it today because getting prepared for the interview, and this is us. This is
Hey, there we
when
are.
we met,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this
So
is the
like
booth.
when
It's
people
always
buy
packed.
flashlights from me, especially at shows, I tell them that all the time. Go around and look at all the other booths because when I was in Tucson this year, every day on my way in and my way out, I would take a light with me and I would shine everything in everybody's booths. And all these people had no clue that they had fluorescent minerals at their booth. So by the end of the show, every day I would buy at least one mineral that was $10 or less. Sometimes it would be 25 cents all the way up to $10.
Yeah,
And I got lapis and sodalite and emeralds and rubies and garnets and fluorite cubes that were banded for a quarter. I couldn't believe it. And a bunch of other stuff. But by the end, I had 30 or 40 minerals across the top of my display from all over the world. And it was like a little Easter egg hunt. And I tell people, everybody be like, "Oh, where'd you find that? Where'd you find that?" I'm like, "Right down there. Just buy a light fitting and go down there and go look."
Yeah.
And I just sent people on a treasure hunt every day. It was awesome.
Yes. Yes, you did. You did. You really did. And I was walking around flashing all of the booths, and people were giving me the eye. Like, it's so creepy. You could come over someone's shoulder and you got a flashlight. They think you're like the police or like security, like, "Sir, set
Yeah.
that down." So this is my keep. I gathered this amount, and this is what it looks like, uh,
Me too.
plain.
Yeah. So that was all
So
from the Detroit show, right?
yes, this was the Detroit show, and I'm so thankful that I went. And my friend, it was actually the one who told me. Shout out to Emily Infinity. And I believe we went out together and grabbed up some of this stuff. Yes, I say I believe because we separated as soon as we got there because I was on a mission. But this was right next to you. This is the
Yeah.
Willemite.
You
Uh,
picked up a piece of ruby and schist that you gave to me. And I still
yeah.
carry that in my pocket.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate
Yep.
that. This
Yeah,
it's
it's my pocket rock.
ruby zoisite, and it's one of these pieces. And I was
Yep.
very excited and extremely. I mean, like, you're definitely hero like to me, and you're going to be more hero like to Japan. Tell the viewers about Japan. You're going out. They're flying you out, right?
Yes. One of my good friends, his name is Satoshi Yui. He owns Sonolamel. It's a mineral company in Japan, and he's paying for me to go to Japan next month. I'm going to the Tokyo Rock and Gem Show. Going to be there for 10 days, and I'm going to help him sell Yooperlites that he's bought. And I'm going to bring some of my new C8 flashlights and sell those while I'm there and have a good time just meeting people and getting my picture taken and signing some autographs for the Canadian people or for the Japanese people, excuse me.
CA flashlights. Tell the viewers you got new
Well,
flashlights
this is
available.
my new C8. This is the
Oh, let me pull
newest
you up.
convoy.
Hang on, let me get your face. There it is. All right.
There we go. This is the newest convoy. As you can see, it's a much larger head than a normal convoy. It's filtered.
Mm-hmm.
This takes two of the 18650 batteries. It lasts about half as long as a normal convoy, even with two batteries, because it's much more powerful. But with this big head, what it does is it throws a very large beam and it throws it very, very far. Because I have, like, this is a 4 LED monster Cooper light that Chris Cooper built for me. And this thing is amazing. But for only 99 bucks, you can get this light that
Wait
goes
one
just as
second.
far and
Okay.
makes stuff even brighter from a farther distance. A big light like this will have a giant beam. It's really, really big and round, but this has more of a focus beam and will actually make Yooper light up much brighter at a further distance than my more expensive lights. Because
Is
I have
it
lights
top?
that are $1,000 that can't compete with this thing. And this
Nice.
is only 99 bucks with 4 batteries and a smart charger, a copy of my article, and a Yooperlite.
Oh
So
boy.
yeah,
Where can the viewers find your stuff? Yooperlite.com, right?
Yooperlites.com. That's it. Yep.
Sweet. Yooperlites.com. That's where you can find these flashlights and all of this other stuff. I literally I bought some bracelets yesterday to put Yooperlites inside of them.
Ah, cool.
The some of the rough Yooperlites that I purchased off of you. But yeah, they're so are these flashlights, since they're UV, are they harmful at all to your, well, you don't want to look
Well,
at them, or
I
your
always
skin?
recommend I always recommend using some kind of eye protection. So you see I always have my eyeglasses on. These have the UV protection built right in. If
Uh-huh.
they're prescription glasses, 99% of the time you're going to have UV protection. If you don't have that, I do suggest that you get a pair of the 99 cent or $5 glasses from Harbor Freight or whatever that have UV protection. They're pretty cheap, pretty much anywhere you can get them. And then you don't want to leave these on your skin for any prolonged period of time. It's just like being out in the sun. You don't want to be out in the sun for a prolonged period of time either. It'll give you a sunburn.
And
You have to
it's
remember on a sunny day, you're getting about 36 watts of ambient UV directly at your eyes. And this is only a 6-watt light and it's bouncing off the beach. So you are getting some back to you, but for the most part, you're not getting as much as you would even get on a sunny day. But if they start bugging your eyes or you start getting a headache or anything like that, make sure you're wearing eye protection.
okay. That's what I was curious about, and I'm glad that you stressed some of the safety hazard or the safety precautions. Because I mean, it's dangerous enough walking it out on the beach at dark,
Well,
but not in the
I got some other
UP.
ones for you too. Never go alone.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Always bring
thinking.
someone with you.
Hmm. At
Always tell
least one
someone
person.
else where you're going. Um, Always bring a white flashlight with you. Bring snacks and a drink because you never know how long you might be stuck out on the beach. Always bring what I bring is a driveway marker, one of those little poles, and I take clear tape and I put a glow stick on it. Snap the glow stick and I stick it in the beach where I walk down. I can see it for about a quarter to a
Oh,
half a mile away down the beach, so I know when I'm getting close to getting back to where I'm supposed to be, and it gives me a reference point on the beach. When you have no reference, it can get really, really hard to find your way back up. So I
wow,
really stress marking your way down.
dude, man,
Yep.
that's stuff that I've never even really thought about. I haven't been able to make my way up there. The time I was gonna go, I'm glad I didn't go because I met you.
Oh,
Um,
well, you
but
realize too, you can find these on Lake Michigan and Lake Erie and Lake Huron and Lake Superior, not just on Lake Superior. And I've done really well down by South Haven. Um, where are some other places? When I was over in Wisconsin, I went to Grant Park in South Milwaukee, did really well. I went down by
hmm,
the Zion Nuclear Power Plant in Illinois and did really well. So
what
anywhere on the
about
Great Lakes where there's rocks, you have a good chance of finding these. But the one problem that people have is they use an improper light, and then second, they use improper technique. What 99.9% of people do, they hold the flashlight down low. They should be holding it up like this, up by their up by their
head?
up by eye level there,
Okay.
and then just stand in one spot and search everything two, three, four times, and then take a couple of big steps. And when you do, drag your feet, stop, search everything again, take a couple of big steps, drag in your feet, stop, look again, and then turn around and look where you just walked because just you riling up the stones with your feet will flip new ones and you're seeing them from a different angle.
Hmm.
So it really, really helps. And when you start to slow down and go super, super extremely slow, you'll start finding way, way, way more stones.
That's
And it's not just the little tiny itty bitty stones you'll find. Sometimes you'll find a 12-pound monster, but only a tiny little spot is showing.
hmm,
So,
dang. Wow. Thank you for divulging so many of these techniques.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, this is stuff that takes years to master. Like you've been doing
Oh yeah.
this.
I've probably got 5,000 hours plus on the beach. I've been doing this for 3 years now. I just finished my third full season, and I'm talking going out basically every night looking for these things. And if I wasn't at a rock show, I was out looking for these every night. So, taking people
So
out to look for them.
I kind of wanted to get into a little bit of the history with these, and and show some of how this is a this the idea of fluorescent rocks isn't new, but you made it into something that is transformative.
Well,
Uh,
I think one of the biggest reasons is now you can buy a light for under $100,
mhm,
where 10 years ago you're looking at $400 to $600 for a light, and it's long wave, mid wave, short wave. The LED technology for these lights really happened in the last 3 or 4 years. I think the Convoy came out about 4.5 years ago. So it was just before my discovery, this new light comes out, because I was using a crappy, cheap 395 nanometer UV light with no filter on it when I first discovered these. But when you switch over to a filtered 365 nanometer light, it just opens up a whole new world. So many more minerals fluoresce. And I think with the advancements in technology has really brought fluorescence to the forefront. And then having my one video get seen over 500 million times worldwide has just opened up a whole new world to so many rockhounds. There are so many people from other countries, especially, that have never heard of fluorescence, period. So this rock has really exposed a lot of people to a new form of rockhound.
I'm one of these people that you've affected, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you on this show, for exposure, for praise, and for to just continue this movement. This movement is huge. I mean, this past few years they've been coming out with scientific research that talks about how much walking on a beach elates your spirits, raises your spirits, and it heals you. Do you find it healing for doing this?
Yeah, it's always good for your soul to get out on the beach and in nature.
Yeah, therapeutic.
And the one thing I do is I ask every person that goes with me, whether they're just going picking with me or on a tour with me, to pick up one piece of trash. And if we can all do that, we make the world a better place. In the spring of this year, I was carrying, I don't know if you've ever seen my famous backpack with the tube on it.
I haven't.
Okay, so it's a backpack, and it's got a tube that sticks out of the right side, and when I find a stone, I just throw it down the tube, right? Well, this spring I was doing tours, so I started taking it to pick up trash. So every night I was filling this backpack completely full of trash, and by the midsummer I'm picking up half a backpack full of trash. Now this fall I didn't even need to carry my backpack anymore. If I could fill a pocket, I was lucky. You know, if I could find a single cigarette butt, I was lucky, because we were cleaning up the beaches so much this summer. So making a real positive change, you know, because my dad taught me from the time I was a little kid, if you see trash on the beach, you pick it up, you take it home, you throw it away properly, you know. And my dad was a smoker, and he never once threw a cigarette butt on the beach, ever. He used to get so mad at people that did that stuff.
See, this reminds me of geocaching, because with every type of thing, anything that brings people out in nature, there's the adverse effects of what about people polluting. Disc golf has the same kind of ramifications, and geocaching. And then you start looking into geocachers, and actually what's going on is they're going out there and picking up the trash.
That's the exact same thing that happened with Yooperlite pickers. Somebody got on my website and said, "I'm tired of all you Yooperlite pickers leaving your trash all over the beach." And I had to tell the lady, "I'm sorry, but we don't put trash on the beach. We pick it up." Because we see the trash that you can't see during the day. You can't see clear trash during the day. You know, it's really hard to spot. But with UV lights, it's super bright blue, easy to see.
Nice.
You wouldn't believe how much garbage we've taken off the beaches this summer.
And that's the good proactive things that come out of stuff like this. When you bring people in nature, there is that possibility that it's going to get trashed. But most things that I've seen so far that's bringing people back out into nature, it's reminding us that, hey, there's trash to pick up, and people are doing it all over. And a lot of people like to focus on the negative things and the trash and stuff, but it's good to get that positive message out there, because there are people on the reverse end picking it up, like you.
Yeah, and I'm very, very big on focusing on the positive. You know what I mean? Like somebody with a trouble with my trademark, or somebody saying they discovered these stones before me or whatever. I don't focus on the negative. I focus on the positive and just keep going.
Yeah.
You know, haters are going to be haters. Everybody's going to have them.
So back in the day, apparently, miners, there's mines that you can go to and you can pick your own fluorescent minerals. And this must
Jersey?
have been, yeah, I think Jersey's one of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, and back in the day, it must have been like the only the people with the expensive $500 flashlights were probably doing this. That's why it was on the low key and it wasn't as
Yeah.
popular.
Well, a lot of times you'd have to rent a light from the mine to be able to
Yep.
do it, you
Hmm.
know, and then you'd take it home and wouldn't be able to look at it. And 90% of fluorescent minerals are shortwave. So most fluorescent minerals are shortwave. And the thing about it is, Yooperlites are basically only long wave. They're not very bright under shortwave or midwave. They really don't do too much at all. They really explode under long wave. And with long wave becoming so cheap now, it's made it it's made it so the everyday average Joe Schmo can go out looking for fluorescent minerals.
Well,
Where before, if I wanted to go find sodalite before, I would have to go to Greenland. I'd have to get an airplane ticket. It cost me about $7,000 total. I'd have to get uh, permission from the Denmark government to take stones back to the United States.
mhm.
So now this is readily and acceptable for under $100. Anybody can come to Michigan and go look for these things.
Yeah, and
So
not only I love how you're drawing people to Michigan, but not only Michigan, all over the
yeah,
world, right? I mean, you're
yeah.
talking
Well,
specifically about Yooperlites,
yeah,
Michigan.
just
Yeah.
Yooperlites, it's
Yes.
something that anybody can do here right in the Midwest. They can go to Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. That's all the states I've found them in now.
Mm.
And, they can go to 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. I want to try Lake Ontario. I've never tried Lake Ontario yet, but I'm hoping next spring that I can make it over there and prove that they're over there as well. That'd be really cool to have them on all 5 Great Lakes.
So you did manage to locate where the main deposit of this is up in Canada, right?
Yes, it's a place called the Coldwell Complex. I went up 2 times now with Lake Superior State University and their geology department. We, on our first expedition, we picked 6 different spots to look. I picked one using Google Maps and my intuition, and the geologists picked 5 spots using geological maps from 1982. And we went to their 5 locations first. 4 out of their 5 locations, we found fluorescent sodalite. Okay. And then the location I had picked was a beach east of this location, east of the Coldwell complex. And they told me that absolutely there's no way they're there. You're not going to find anything. We won't find anything there. So it was a place called Pebble Beach over by Marathon. And within
I'm pull
5 minutes of being on the beach, guess what we found? We found fluorescent sodalite Yooperlites right on the beach in Marathon on Lake Superior. So I had a fun time proving 4 or 5 geologists wrong. It was awesome because I just went
uh
with my gut feeling. So if you're trying to find a map, there you go. You're
yeah.
pretty, yeah. So if you go just south of there, there you go. That's right in the area that we were in because Marathon's right around there somewhere.
Oh, okay, now I can see it. I wasn't seeing my screen too
Yeah.
well. It was
But to go to these locations and get samples, because we collected samples, we had to get permission from the Canadian government, and then we had
uh-huh.
to get also permission from the claim owners, because all of this property is either Queen's property or in a national park.
Mm.
So um, we had to get permission not only from the government, but also the claim owners that own the mining rights to these claims. So it's not like a regular person can just go up there and bring a bunch home.
Right.
So
Right.
if you went to the beach in Marathon, you could probably take some of that home. I think
Yeah.
there's a 75 pound per day limit. So that
Whew.
wouldn't be a problem if you collected them from Pebble Beach there. But it's pretty hardy walking on that beach. The stones are all very, very large. And the Yooperlites that come off that beach are very, very water washed. They're so tumbled that they feel like they've been tumbled in a tumbler. They're very, very smooth from there.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
the way that these stones got to Pebble Beach and Marathon wasn't from glaciers, okay? Because the glaciers took them straight down from the Coldwell complex, which is about 12, 15 miles west of there. The way that these stones got to Pebble Beach was glaciers dropped these in Lake Superior. Well, then the ice picked up every year. There's ice that forms every year on Lake Superior. Well, the ice picks up these stones, floats them a little bit east, say 500 or 600 yards every year for 10,000 years. That's how it gets them 12, 15 miles down the beach.
Right here.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's from ice activity is how they got from the Coldwell complex over to Marathon. And I believe that's because if you look at the map here where Whitefish Point is there, if you go down to Michigan a little bit,
Oh,
there you go. If you expand out just a little bit. Okay, so you can see Whitefish Point there over on the right. That's about where the Yooperlites stop, and they go all the way to the left on Lake
where's what?
Superior.
Where's Whitefish Point?
Down in the bottom middle.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
right there.
you said that's
So
where it stops?
yeah, because east of there, over to Brimley where I live, over by Super St. Marie there. Okay, yep, right in that area. You would think that whole bay would have Yooperlites, but it does not. I've only ever found one, and I walked 7.5 miles in a night and found one Yooperlite.
Where did you
And I
drive?
checked
If you
just right
don't
here in
mind,
Brim.
if you don't mind me asking, where did you drive the first night you found it? Up here?
Yep. You see where Whitefish Point is?
Yeah.
Go left about 8 miles.
Okay. So
Right
around
about,
here
right
then.
about, yeah, right about where the land dips back down to the left, right there. That's
Oh,
Vermilion.
that's
Yeah.
only 8 miles. I was driving that and it was really quick. I was up there hanging out and stuff. And this is shorter distance than you think right here.
Yeah, it's not very far, but it takes a couple hours.
Or that I thought, or
Track
shorter
roads.
distance than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
until they pave 500 or 414 or one of the dirt roads, you're gonna have it takes forever because those roads get
so
muddy and nasty real fast.
so how long do you think it is from your place up here to Marathon?
7.5 hours it takes us.
Okay. All right. Um uh have you done it? You're probably not going to try doing it in the winter this time of year.
No,
It's probably be
no. I
horrible.
was gonna go up one last time, but we have so much snow already. We've
Yeah.
already had about 20 inches of snow, so I'm done for the year. I'm not going out with a snowsuit and having to chisel stuff out with a hammer and a screwdriver. I did that last year. I went all the way until Christmas Eve last year, and I was hunting them under 6 inches of snow. And,
I love your persistence. It pays
and they
off.
light up. They light up under the snow. I don't give up too easy. I'm not one of them guys that gives up really easy.
Oh,
So
dude, your
I
endurance,
went
man.
out.
You
I went out to Perry's Landing on Christmas Eve last year, and I was finding them under 6 inches of snow, but it was the slickest beach you've ever been on. Because, I mean, all these round rocks with a quarter inch of ice on them, it's pretty slip, pretty slick. And, I had to have a screwdriver and a hammer to pop them out of the beach. And I did a couple videos on my YouTube channel of me finding those last Christmas Eve. Oh, that's
wow. I
something else I
can't.
need to mention. I have a YouTube channel, an
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, Yooperlites on Facebook, and then a TikTok. I put up one of my Yooperlite hunting videos on TikTok last night. It's been about 15, 16 hours. I've got almost 200,000 views already.
Nice.
Yeah, in less than a day. So I'm exploding on TikTok now.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
As you should be, because I get TikTok is owned by China, but all of the tech companies have moved to China because, unfortunately, I don't want to get into politics, but we're moving into a technocracy.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I talk about it quite a bit on my episodes, and it's hard to think, wrap your brain around what that is, but it just means that the technology is the government, and they moved to China, and it's the social credit score is almost half of the population of the world is already on the social credit score, like India, China. So we're almost it's I see China taking over the world shortly here. Anyway,
Have you ever listened to a guy named Gary Vanderchuck?
no, I haven't.
He's like a social media guru, helps entrepreneurs and businesses grow themselves through social media.
Okay.
Uh, he said he knows it's mostly for kids, but he's like, if you want to grow your business, get on TikTok. So I started
Yes.
getting on TikTok. I'm friends with Steve Arnold from Meteorite Men, and I was at his house about a month ago, and he was telling me all about this Gary V guy. So I started watching his stuff, and he was telling me that he was on TikTok. So I just saw yesterday that he put out a TikTok video because he was searching for a meteorite in, where is it?
Ar
Arkansas, I think.
Arkansas. Yeah, I think it came in
Uh,
Arkansas or no, Missouri, I think.
Missouri, yeah, because it was
Yeah.
by the arch there.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
they
I
had to
follow
stop
that stuff
hunting
too.
today because it was the first day of deer hunting season today.
Oh boy.
So, yeah. So they have to wait a couple days before they can get back out into the woods and look for it.
Okay, if people want to look into Gary V, how do you spell his last name?
I'm not sure. Just type in Gary V on YouTube, you will find it.
Okay,
He's got thousands and thousands of videos. Yeah,
cool.
really
I
cool guy,
started
and he's got a super positive attitude, and um, yeah, I love his channel.
nice.
Very
Uh,
inspirational. Listen to him almost daily.
I'm gonna have to get on that because yeah, that is where things are going. If you look at the what trends are, how trends set.
Yeah,
Yeah, last year TikTok was it. It was the number one, and I don't know about this year, but probably I assume it's probably right up there again. It's so
yeah,
easy. If you own a company, I mentioned it to one of the places I work and yesterday, and they thought it was a great idea. But yeah, TikTok, it's easy. It's really simple. But
yeah.
back
And I
to
try to put out new content every single day. So if there's a
so it's
day when I don't
Yooperlites
put out
on.
some kind of content, there's something wrong.
Okay, so it's Yooperlites on TikTok for you, right?
I think either
Or
that
is
or
it your
my
name?
under my name. I think it's just
Okay,
my name, Erik
okay,
Rintamaki. Yeah,
okay. Right here, here's the spelling for that for anybody who's curious. Um, so yeah, this is. I mean, I can't stress enough how much of a movement this is because it gets people back on the beach. It gets people to putting your feet in the soil so they ground. You get to ground. I'm a firm believer in grounding. I understand
yeah,
that it really does transform some things.
yeah.
Um,
And what I tell people is buy a light no matter where you live. And I don't care whether you buy the light from me or someone else, but get a filtered 365 light. Don't buy a cheap, junky light. And um, I tell people no matter where you live, go out and look and don't take no for an answer. And go look. Even if I tell you no, there's no Yooperlites there, go look anyway. If there's rocks, go look.
yes.
Because what's
Yeah.
going to happen is some 12-year-old kid from Arkansas is going to buy a light and he's going to go in his backyard or in a local canyon or a creek bed or something, and he's going to find something that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yes.
That
Yes.
everybody told him no, 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 and then that 12-year-old kid's going to have the same thing happen to him that happened to me. They'll
Oh,
find something that was previously unrecorded in that state, and maybe they'll get to blow up too, you know. And maybe I can help that person on their journey as well.
dude, your spirits, your attitude, it's right on point. And that's the visionary quest of clearly not blue blood, but a driven soul that has discovered things, has persistence. The persistence is paying off, and um, I mean, I just love your attitude and how you want to affect and help other people, and
Yeah,
you don't care where they get the light from. Just go out and do it,
yeah,
like he says, you know.
yeah. Just do it. Just get out and do it. You know, my biggest thing is this. It's not that I discovered a mineral. It's not how much money I make. It's not how big my company becomes. My legacy is getting people off the cell phone, off the Xbox, out in nature, talking to their family, talking with friends, meeting new people, doing something fun out in nature. And if we can pick up a piece of trash or two and make the world a better place, hey, I'm all for it. You know, that's my big thing, is getting people, because I play video games just like everybody else, but we don't need to sit on them all the time. And like I did a couple of tours this year where I had a family come from Jackson, Michigan. There was 5 of them. And the lady called me the day after her tour, and she's like, Erik, my family all the way up for 5 hours of driving talked the whole way. We stayed off our cell phones, and then we had the most magical night. She's like, we had the best time ever, and then we talked all the way home. We haven't talked like this in forever. She's like, we communicated. We weren't just on our cell phones and ignoring each other the whole time. And I thought that was super awesome.
That's amazing. And this is what's going to continue to flourish out of your success and your company here you're running, is these stories of people, and there's going to be so many of them coming together in nature.
I have so many awesome stories, and I try to tell them all every time I do a lecture or a talk. And I'm getting to the point now where I have so many of them that I'm planning on writing a book.
As you should.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and just putting all these stories in a book, and that's basically all my book's going to be about, is all the different stories.
Testimonials. That's what speaks the most, man. Real life testimonials.
Yeah, like I took a group called Michigan Rockhound Friends out for their second trip. There was like 22 of them, and this is would have been 2018. And I took them to the mouth of the Two Hearted, and there was 20 something of them. And what I do is I walk with each person one-on-one. I try to learn their story a little bit, tell them my story, and I try to help them find stones, and then I move on to the next person. So I went through all 21 people, and I look way back where we started. And way back there's a purple light, way, way back where we started. I'm like, oh no. So I run all the way back, like 3/4 of a mile or so. I get back there, and there's this lovely lady. She's in her 80s. Her name is Nancy. She's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I've now taken her on 3 tours. I get back to her, and I can tell she's about to just bust out crying. I'm like, hey, Nancy, did you find all the Yooperlites? And she's like, no, they're going so fast. They found them all. And I'm thinking, oh man, she's going to start bawling right here. And I'm like, no, stop. I said, we're going to stand right here. We're not going to move. And we're going to find some Yooperlites right here. And she says, BS to me real loud. And I'm like, no, we'll find some right here. So we stood there. I was there for 2 seconds, and I find one. And I'm like, I put my light on it. I'm like, you see it? You see it? You see it? She's like, no, I can't see it. I can't see it. So I took her by the shoulders, put her right in front of me. I put the beam of light right by her eye. I'm like, do you see it? Do you see it? She's like, no. So I'm flashing the light back and forth. I'm like, look, it's right there. She's like, that orange thing? I'm like, yeah, that's it. So she reaches down and grabs it. And when she's coming back up, her light hits one. And it's just me and her in the middle of the night, pitch black. You can't see anything. And I'm not expecting this. She screams, bingo, at the top of her lungs, as loud as you've heard a little old lady scream bingo before. Scares the absolute crap out of me. And she's like, my friends back in Grand Rapids, 5 hours away, are going to hear me. Woohoo, bingo. So we stood right there. She found 6 stones. Okay. So I'm like, okay, Nancy, I got you finding stones. Everybody's getting too far away. I need to go get them. So you're good to go. And we were only like 40 feet from where we had started. We had all our beach chairs out on the beach to mark our way back. And so I'm going away. I get 100 feet away, and I hear bingo. I get 300 feet away. Bingo. Bingo. So I just kept hearing bingo quieter and quieter and quieter all the way down the beach. It was so awesome. So at the end of the night, we get back, and it was the first night that I had done a picture where I have everybody put their hands in with their best finds at the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's kind of a tradition. I do it at the end of every night pick. So she didn't find the biggest stone that night, but she found the most stones. So it's not a matter of how fast you go. It's persistence, taking your time, going slow, And I just love that story of her scaring the crap out of me on the beach, yelling bingo at the top of her lungs.
Me too. And
Yeah, that's the picture right there. That's from oh, that's one of them. But that's what I do at the end of every night pick is pictures like that.
that's so awesome. And if people want to go on a tour, they hit you up. They straight up through Yooperlites.com.
Yeah, yep. And
Okay.
I won't have listings for 2020 up until probably mid-March or April because I have to wait for the snow and the ice to melt. So
Mhm.
I can't schedule anything until all the ice is gone.
Okay. Um, awesome. Wow. This is so I guess if you got a few more minutes,
Yeah.
I could go into a little bit of research that I found here. And also, whilst I wanted to mention this. This is what I wanted to mention. You mentioned earlier, it's all about slowing down.
Yeah.
So many people in society today, it's get, phone, ching, 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 slot.
Yeah.
You pull that phone down. It's the same thing as the dopamine that's released off of a slot machine. And
Yeah.
you go out into nature with the calm breeze, like you said, and the grass and the lapping of the rote of the waves coming up on the beach, and you slow down. Even then you go fat, you're like trying to find it, but if you slow down, and this is the same for all rock collecting.
All rockhounds think that it's way down the beach. It's right under your feet.
Yep.
Same thing with hunters and fishermen and
Hmm.
any kind of treasure that you're going after, because I consider this treasure hunting.
Hmm.
Same thing with people that metal detect, like me. And, I always think it's way down at that end of the field, not right here by my feet. So I have to tell myself all the time, slow down, slow down, slow down.
Hmm.
Because that's the biggest thing I've learned through all these hours and hours and hours of picking on the beach is I would go picking with my friends at night for Yooperlites. And like one night I had Melvin and Jeff with me at Vermilion, and they're like a mile down the beach in front of me. And I'm like, they're walking so many miles, and I ended up finding more than both of them together.
Hmm.
And I was right behind them, and I didn't walk a quarter as far as they did. you know so
Yep.
that night there really proved to me that going slow is the way to go for these things.
Yes, and for Petoskey, and I like how you brought it into everything,
And
any field,
agates,
hunting.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
dude,
I,
that's
I just
brilliant.
I just got on my old laptop day before yesterday, and I found probably 100 videos that I had taken with my GoPro back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and I never did anything with them. So I was looking at them and watching them, and I was like, wow, I go way, way too fast when I agate pick. No wonder I couldn't find anything.
Look,
Yeah.
this is
So yeah, that's us going super fast, agate picking. And on the right there, that's my buddy Chris Seidel. He died in a car accident. This was the last time
oh
I ever got to go agate picking with them, so that was kind of a
ah
bummer. But as you can see, look how fast we're going. How are we going to find anything going that fast? With all the billions of rocks that are on that beach. You
yeah,
know.
exactly. You look in the day sometimes too, like in
For
this.
agates, yes.
Oh, okay.
I cannot spot Yooperlites during the day. Other people say they can. I can't. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I've tried. I can't do it. So our beaches are just too diverse. They say there's more different types of rocks on a Lake Superior beach than anywhere else in the world. It's the most
that's
diverse beach as far as
that's
rocks and minerals go.
that's what I hear, and a lot of this I think is because it was the world's largest barrier reef was right above Michigan, so the
Oh,
most living creatures ever on the earth were right here, and
I
then
didn't know that.
yeah, and then
I
it
know. I know.
fossilized.
At night you can find buckets of like horn corals and fossils and Petoskey stones and everything else on the beach with these lights, as they light up a kind of a yellowish color, yellow and
Mhm.
purple.
Okay, yes, that's the biomass of the material from them. Yeah, that's awesome. So right here, you guys are looking for agate, not an agate. Okay.
Yep.
So going through a few other names of other stones that fluoresce and other minerals, there's aragonite, apatite, scheelite,
And you find
scapolite.
scheelite on our beaches.
Okay. Gypsum, I guess, says here.
Yep, and
Uh,
calcite you can find on our beaches.
okay. What's color calcite? What does that fluoresce?
It's red, and a lot of people mistake Yooperlites for calcite. But with a
Okay.
calcite, if you hold the light on it and take it away real quick in the dark, it'll hold the glow. It'll go, whew, it'll fade down. It
Yes.
phosphoresces, so it holds the charge for just a split second. It's maybe under half a second.
And
Um,
the name of what you just mentioned is from my research that I saw here is I think it's pronounced tenebrescence.
oh, okay,
Uh,
yep.
and it's also known as reversible photochromism, and it's the ability of minerals to change color when exposed to
Change
light.
color. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the effect
Well,
can be repeated indefinitely, but it is destroyed by heating.
and there's a lot of sodalite that will do that, but not Yooperlites, which is very strange.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
because it was
because
destroyed by
what
heat.
you do is you take a shortwave light and you put it up to the stone and you hold it there for I don't know 60 seconds or so. You charge it up and then you take it away and the stone will turn purple in white daylight and then it'll fade back to its natural color. But Yooperlites don't do it.
Huh. Yeah, it
Yeah,
must have been destroyed by the heat then.
yeah, because Hackmanite will do that. Because Hackmanite looks just like Yooperlite, like sodalite.
Yep, Hackmanite, spodumine,
Yeah, I don't
spodum,
know a lot of the names. Yeah, because I'm not
and
a geologist. I'm just a regular rock hound. I'm an everyday guy that just got
yeah,
lucky. I found
right.
the golden goose laying on the beach, and now I've ran with the ball. I just ran with it, you
Dude,
know.
that's awesome. And one more. I have to say this word. I'm not either. I've just researched it a little bit to get people who are interested more in the minerals, some words and some direction to go. Tug tugpupite.
Tug to pipe.
Tug to
Yep,
pipe. Okay.
yep. They find that over in Greenland, and
And
yeah,
that is
I need to get out on the beach and look for shortwave with my shortwave because I've been told that the exact same way that sodalite was made here is the same way it was made in Greenland. And in Greenland, they find sodalite and tug to pipe together. So
ooh.
I've been told to get out on the beach with my shortwave and give it a shot. So I'm going to give it a shot on the beach and up in Canada the next time I go
And
because I
that's
have
a
four
different
more locations that I need to scout up in Canada
okay.
because I'm looking at either purchasing mineral rights or buying large pieces from whoever owns the mineral rights in Canada. I want to have tabletops and bar tops and dishes made out of this stuff, you know. So
As you should, as well you
yeah,
definitely should. Uh that's wonderful. And these tidbits of information that you've uh so willingly
well, see, I
given.
tell everybody there's no such thing as a secret beach or a secret location.
Right.
Okay. And I will tell everybody the rules and regulations. Like up in Canada, you have to have permits. You have to get permission to go to these places. That's why there's not a million people up there picking this stuff. Lots
Right.
of people know where it is, but not a lot of people go there. It's very,
Yeah.
very remote. And when we found some of these places were 2 or 3 hour hikes back in the bush in the middle of nowhere with no roads, no anything, so it was some of the hardest hiking I've ever done. And Denny, one of the geologists, he's in his 70s. He blew me away. He could walk so fast through the bush, and I
Oh,
could. I would be stopping to take breaks, and he'd be, half a mile ahead of me. So
I would love to go up there with you next.
if
I
you
would
have
pay to come with
if you
you.
have a passport or are able to go to Canada, yeah,
Yeah,
I'd love to have you sometime. Take you up there. It's a blast.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, I plan on doing a lot of filming the next time I go. I want to bring a documentary crew with me, and yeah, I want to make a whole episode of a show out of it.
I would pick Vice. I would pick someone from Vice to come with you.
What's Vice?
Vice, the TV show, the reporters, they do
Oh,
all that kind of they're the most likely that will send someone to come out there in that terrain with you. They do
Yeah.
crazy stuff. If you look
Yeah.
into Vice, I'm
Well, I was hoping
surprised.
to have the guy that did my PBS documentary, Light Up the North, the Story of Yooperlites. I was hoping to have Matthew Myers. I was hoping to have him come again because I told him I wanted to work with him again. That kid does amazing, amazing work. If you get a chance, go on YouTube and watch my documentary. It's called Light Up the North, the Story of Yooperlites. It's about 20 minutes long. You can watch it on demand on Dish Network, DirecTV, all that stuff. And this kid should be working for Netflix or something. He did that whole documentary himself with one camera and one microphone and editing
Wow.
software. That's
And
it. He's
his
so
name
good.
is
His name
Matthew.
is Matthew Myers. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I would love to come up there and be a part of whatever's going on. Uh, that was my favorite part. I actually went to college uh, and took a class in geology. It was
Oh,
field
really?
geology, and if Dave Thomas is still alive, he was my teacher. Uh, we went all the way up everywhere through here, and for
Yeah.
a geology class, I only took one geology class, but it was by far my favorite class in college.
I've
Um,
actually talked to Paul Kelso, the lead geologist at LSSU, Lake Superior State University. He's the one that went with me a couple times up to the Coldwell complex, and I ended up donating flashlights and display lights because we're putting in the UV mineral display in the Mineral Museum at Crawford Hall.
oh,
So I
nice.
talked to him, and he said he thinks I should take a geology class there at the college. But the only thing is, I'm gone for the whole month of February and part of January for the Tucson show, so it's kind of impossible for me. Otherwise, I
What
would
what
take
do
a
you got?
geology class.
What do you got going on in the Tucson show? It sounds a lot like a long time.
Yeah, it's the world's longest and biggest gem show in the world. It's 18 days long. Goes from like the 26th or 27th of January through like the 15th of February. I was at the
Wow.
22nd Street show last year. I don't know what show I'm going to be at this year.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. I have friends who just opened up a store out in Dinosaur, Utah,
Oh, okay, yep.
and it's and they do tours. They do geology tours, uh, showing how uh, electrical discharge carved out the Grand Canyon like lightning bolts,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, they have this whole geology, electric geology tour, showing that electricity has pulled, literally charge has pulled mountain ranges up. um, and this happens. There's a bunch of scientists that are getting down to the bottom of this, and there's these toroidal fields that are charged, and one will pull up a mountain and then like pull it literally up and place it somewhere else through the sky through these large like tornado like kind of deposits. Uh, but anyway, he's he does tours out there, and it'd be interesting to see the electric geology perspective of
Yeah,
the Yooperlites up here.
yeah. Well, I've had a
So
lot of when I was in Tucson this year, I was next to the metaphysical people, and they had the metaphysical guru come. I can't remember her name, and she came and held a couple of my stones for about 15 minutes or so.
mhm.
And she thought that they were a communication stone.
Oh,
And the Japanese, they believe that Euperlites are a power stone. So you're supposed to carry it around in your pocket, helps you power through your day. I don't go anywhere without a Euperlite in my pocket. I can't say whether they're right or whether they're wrong, but it works for me.
yeah, I've definitely had them on me, and I sold out of the jewelry that I made from them, and the other jewelry of the ruby zoisite and stuff. I just went out to Virginia, but anyway, I sold out of the stock that I had. So people are loving it, and I'm gonna have to start getting flashlights and pushing the flashlights too. I'm glad that you love that people want that you want to push the flashlights, because I want to try to figure out how to get them as cheap as possible to get them out to as many people as possible, and people will buy them from me, and because they've already asked.
Yeah, and I do wholesaling, so you can get a hold of me later. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. So I guess there's so much more to get into, but I guess we can kind of wrap it up. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got a lot of other stuff going on, and it's so beautiful. I want to stress to the crowd that get into this. You'll find so many new things that it's like Pogs, like the discovery of like Pogs. It's viral.
Yeah,
This stuff is going crazy, and it does feel good when you hold them in your hand. There's an energy to them. I will tell you that much. That's for darn sure.
they're the most addictive rock picking experience you'll ever have.
That's true. I will vouch for that.
Yeah, you
Well,
find one, you just got to find another. And the one thing that everybody that's ever went out with me, the one thing that everyone says, everyone, just one more, just one more, just one more. We'll get off the beach in a minute. Just one more. So nobody wants to quit.
can you see my screen?
I see me. Yeah, oh, yeah, I can see it. Yep.
For some reason, it just said my thing stopped sharing because I was screen. I don't know. Anyway, sometimes technology. But wow,
Yeah,
it's
if you
been
ever want to collaborate again, or if there's anybody out there that's a YouTuber or anything like that wants to collaborate on something, I'm down with all that stuff. I like taking other people along for the ride with me, and I like going for the ride with somebody else. So I'm always down for collaborating on videos and all that kind of stuff.
well. I can't wait to hang out with you again, and I see a long-lasting friendship going on.
Yeah,
And you're an awesome dude, and I love your vibes, man. Keep up the good way that you run your company. I really
thank you.
appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for coming on the show today. We'll have to do more shows, and so we can continue to push it out. Or, I mean, you're going to get swept off to who knows? You might make Yooperland. Like a Yooper world. I believe in you.
yeah,
All
awesome.
right, cool. Well, take care, man, and enjoy this winter. Stay warm, and I'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah, all right, thanks. Bye.
Take care. Woo! All right. Wow. I love it. You never know what's going to come up. You never know who's going to be next. You could be next. The show's sporadic. What's going to happen? You never know. Thank you for viewing episode 15, season 1. Working on mixing up some stuff for season 2, 2020. Love is watching. Full vision. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for listening. I'm not asking for any money. I'm broke already. Thanks for being here.